have any props that you need nearby, and we'll get started. Welcome to our Hatha flow class for Wednesday. We're almost halfway through October, and well into fall now. So I hope everyone's staying warm and feeling strong for the rest of the season. So we're going to be started seated. If you have blocks or books or cans or toilet paper rolls to help bring the floor closer to you in forward folds or in lunges, that's what those can be for. A belt or a strap or a tea towel to act as something to bring your legs closer to you. And then a blanket, a cushion, a folded towel to boost your hips when you're seated. All of those can be useful. Once you get into your comfortable seat, we will close our eyes. And you might need to make some adjustments. Sometimes the first time that we get into a physical pose, things start to settle and we notice that we need to shift, and that's okay. So remember that throughout the class as well. There's no hard and fast rule that says that you need to get it right on the very first try. Once you've reset those sit bones, you can let the spine reach tall and long out of the pelvis and close the eyes. We start to notice the physical layer of the body. Start to notice the sensation of air on the skin or the earth underneath us. The physical body is such an important layer because it really helps us to create the space to tap into that awareness that's underneath our thoughts, our projections, our judgments. That helps us tap into the awareness that's underneath the emotions, the stories. By coming back to sensation, those other things can be put on the back burner. So as always, we set the intention to tap into those inner messages as we move through our practice, especially as it pertains to the physical body, making sure we move in a pain-free range of motion. No shooting, burning, pains, no pinching, compressing. As we start to learn the difference between discomfort that leads to growth, that good challenge that we explore on the mat, versus the discomfort that does not create more, and in fact further strains or stresses our system. It's a journey, and that's what we explore. We watch for lightheadedness or dizziness. Make sure we take a comfortable position or a different variation of the pose whenever is necessary. My theme this week is intuition. And I feel our physical yoga practice is a really powerful way to tap in to that intuition because of this recognition of all the different layers of ourselves, the physical, the mental, the emotional, the energetic, the spiritual, and noticing that there's something deep in there, a vast expanse of wisdom that still speaks to us beyond the thoughts, the emotions, the sensations. Sometimes it does speak to us through sensation, and that's why we can tap into it that way sometimes. We start to distinguish between our inner voice and the outer voices. So I encourage us all to use our practice today to listen, to hear those deep inner messages from our body, and even more importantly, to act on them, because then our body, ourselves, will give us some great gifts. Let's open our eyes. As we inhale, we reach the arms up and out and away. And then we exhale, draw those hands down the center line, thumbs to the chest. 2 more of those. And down. Take up lots of space. Expand the body, expand your energetic bubble, and then draw it back into the center. Bow to yourself. Perhaps you set your own intention here. And then we're going to slowly roll forward onto hands and knees. You can reset, bringing the hands under the shoulders, the knees under the hips, and start to move into our cats and cows. So as we inhale, we let that front body open and expand. And as we exhale, we let that back body open and expand. And then you start to listen to what the spine is asking for. You start to listen to what motions the body might want. It might want to start moving side to side, but we continue to breathe in and out. And the same general idea, opening front body on the exhale, opening back body, on the exhale, and the front body on the inhale. You have 2 more rounds of breath to wake up your spine here slowly. And then we come back to center. We're going to curl the toes under and plant every single toe, or almost, onto the earth, and plant down through every single fingertip, every single knuckle. Lift the knees 2 to 3 inches off the floor, draw up through that belly button, and then do a little body scan here. Make sure every finger, every knuckle's pressed into the earth. We're pressing the earth away, especially with the L of our index finger and our thumb. Our arms are strong, but our neck muscles are relaxed. Our face is relaxed. The belly button is pulling up and in, but we see if we can relax the back of the heart a little bit. The thighs are drawing really deeply onto the legs, and they feel like they're getting some work here. And every toe is trying to spread on the mat. For 3, 2, 1. Come back into a downward facing dog. You might need to adjust your stance a little bit, and you can walk it out. So we're going to continue waking up the core and the shoulders a little bit this way. The arms may get fatigued, and I promise you, you'll make it through. So you have two options here. To get into the shoulders only, we could drop the knees to the floor and just come back and forth here and really extend through the spine. Or you can keep those knees off the floor again, and this time coming back into a rocket launcher and coming forward. So we're gonna do that 5 times. Exhale, hips come back. Inhale, and we shift forward, either on the knees or off the knees. We've got 3 more to go. Starting to feel that warmth. Using the breath and using that slow motion to really gain awareness of what's going on physically in the body. And then this last one, we make our way back into a downward dog, straightening the legs, lifting those hips up and back. Yes, those hands are working hard, and they should be feeling a little bit fatigued here. We're waking up these parts of our body that don't often get a really good workout. Next inhale, either on the knees or on the toes, we're going to shift forward into a plank pose. So on the knees, it could look like this again. And then we come into a plank where the knees are a little bit further behind the hips. Or knees off the ground and back into a down dog. Let's do that 4 more times. Inhaling forward, exhaling back. We feel a little bit more load on the shoulders here. We feel those heels pressing back, the sit bones drawing back with every exhale. 1 more time. Beautiful. And now let's take some of that work off the hands. Walk the feet towards the hands. Take the hands off the floor. Open and close those fists. Do some wrist circles. Bend the knees as much as you need to for this forward fold and any forward fold to come. We'll start to see that the legs will be able to straighten more and more as we warm up. Shake the head no, nod it yes, and then for 1 full round of breath, just let that upper body hang towards the earth. If there's any strain in the lower back, we bend the knees more, rest our abdomen on our thighs. And now slowly come all the way up to standing Tadasana mountain pose. Feeling tall and strong. Feeling the bones stack naturally. Next inhalation, we draw the arms up and away. And exhale, bend at the hips, fold forward. So bigger movements now through our joints. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, folding down. 1 more of those. Inhale. And exhale, hinging at the hips, diving down. Hold here for 1 round of breath. Make sure the feet are parallel. All 4 corners of the feet are evenly planted. You can even kind of shift right to left, shift forward and back, and then find center. Hands to shins or thighs, Ardha Uttanasana. We look up halfway, lengthen the spine, and then exhale, fold. 2 more of those. Inhale, each time drawing the heart further forward away from the sit bones. And release. 1 more. And exhale, release down. Plant the hands down. And we're going to make our way back into a plank pose. Now, plank can be on hands and toes. It can be on elbows and knees. Anything in between. But we're drawing in towards that center line. Imagine a column, a golden column from the top of the head down through the tailbone. And everything is knitting towards that center line. Our face can be soft. Our heart can be soft. The ribs are pulling down towards the pelvis, the lower abdomen's pulling up towards the sky, and those legs are strong. Beautiful. Drop the knees down, and let's come into our shoulder flow. We exhale, draw the hips back, and as we inhale, we drag the nose along the mat, elbows out to the side, hips stay high, nose stays low until we come to the thumbs and we press back up to hands and knees. 4 more of those. On your own breath, taking the time to see what's happening within your body. Watching those arm bones nestle into the shoulder sockets as you come forward. Watching that spine lengthen as you come back. Got 1 more. And then see if you can slither all the way down towards the abdomen, letting the pelvis come to the floor. Tops of the feet come to the floor. Walk those hands in towards you, maybe under the shoulders, maybe by the ribs. And as we inhale, we're going to draw those elbows towards each other, lift the heart, and exhale down. Again, inhale up and exhale down. 3 more. So keep that lower body planted on the earth. And we're recruiting as many muscles in the back body as we can to lift. Let's hold this last one. The fingertips are in contact with the floor. They're communicating with the floor, but we're not pressing into the hands yet. We're not activating the triceps so much that we start to come higher. We're using all those back muscles. Draw the heart further forward, widen the collarbones, and then come on down. Curl the toes under, come into your downward dog, or maybe it's a puppy or a child at any time during the practice. Beautiful. Look up at the front of the mat, step, walk, or hop to a forward fold and fold. On the next inhalation, we come all the way up, reaching to the sky, and we exhale, fold all the way down. Half forward fold, hands to shins or thighs, look up and lengthen, and fold. 2 more of those again. Look up halfway, press into the feet, draw those sit bones up, and exhale. Keep them up and lengthen the body down. 1 more. And then hands plant to the earth. And again, plank pose. Warming up the body here. Getting in tune with the core. Head and neck are an extension of the spine. Imagine that golden rod again. We've got a long line from head to tailbone. Beautiful. So we're not looking down towards the belly button or looking up. Everything feels aligned. We're pressing the floor away and we're relaxing through the periphery, the muscles that don't need, or the parts of the body, the skin that doesn't need to be overly activated. The face, the eyes, the jaw, the back of the throat, the heart. And then drop the knees down, this time 3 times shoulder flow. Exhale, hips come back. Inhale, draw forward. And press back. Keep going. Feeling a change through your body. The more we listen, the more we move. The last one, we make our way all the way down onto the abdomen again. Tops of the feet on the floor. This time, you might put a little more pressure into the hands. Keep those elbows drawing back, keep the collarbones wide, the neck long, and come a little further into your cobra. and down. 4 more of those. Drawing your heart up and forward, and then down. With a little bit of help with up from our arms this time. A little bit of help from the earth. And then on the very last one, we're gonna hold that cobra pose and watch ourselves for a moment. Make sure we're not slouching forward with the shoulders. Make sure the shoulder blades are on the back. The back doesn't feel compressed in any one area. And then add a little bit of a pull with your hands, as if you're trying to pull your heart forward onto the mat through your arms. And then all the way down, downward dog, child's, or puppy pose. Beautiful. Now either from elbows and knees or from a downward dog position, we're going to reach that right leg up behind us, bend the right knee, and make 3 big circles in each direction with that right hip. So we want them as slow and mindful as we can. So again, we can see what's happening within. Other direction. This is what it looks like on elbows and knees. Down dog works 2, and release. Reset, do whatever you need to do between legs. And then we'll go to the left side. Left leg lifts, left knee bends, and again, 3 big circles in each direction with that knee. Move from the very root of the hip and isolate all the muscles needed to create mobility in this joint. Beautiful work. Release that leg and step forward into a forward fold. Parallel the feet. Bend the knees nice and deep. Lots of weight in the heels. And come up into our first chair pose. Sit those hips back behind you. Spread the toes. Draw the ribs in. Activate the lower abdomen. We're going to reach the arms out in front of us. Plug those shoulders back. And go for a few bounces here. Getting deep. Deep. Seeing if you can remain a little deeper with each time for 5, 4, deeper, 2 more, and 1. Come all the way up to standing, reach tall, and fold forward. Look up halfway, lengthen, and this time fingertips are going to come to the earth. We'll step the right leg back behind us, and we're in a runner's lunge. So this is where your props might come in handy. You could be on fingertips so that back can be nice and long. But if you feel like you really have to hunch to get towards the earth, we use blocks to bring the earth closer. And draw that left hip back. Now we're going to walk the right hand to the right, a little left hand to the back of the sacrum, and twist here. So we're leaning on that right hand. Maybe we can even reach up with that left arm. You might even bring the left hand behind the back of the head so you can lean the head back and cradle it. And then back to center. Here, you either leave the hands on the floor or the blocks, you support yourself on your front thigh, or bring the hands to the hips. Back knee is going to bend 6 times, almost to the earth, and press it back. Keep that left hip coming back. Keep those hips stable and strong. And each time you press that right heel back, you stretch out that hip flexor a little bit more. Get into it. Beautiful, one more. Nice work. Now tip the body up. You can either hold yourself supported or come into any arm position that feels the most life-affirming right now. Release the hands to the earth and step back to a plank pose. Here we can start playing with bending our elbows behind us, either with straight legs or knees on the earth. We come all the way down to the floor. Now set those hands again for your cobra, Bhujangasana. Draw those elbows in, widen the collarbones. Draw that heart forward, and with every in-breath, come a little higher. Exhale, hold. Inhale. Exhale, check in with yourself. At some point, the body may say, this doesn't feel like it's creating more. And you listen to it and you go down a step. And then come all the way down. Curl the toes under, down dog, child's, or puppy. Now from down dog, we're gonna reach that right leg up behind us, bend the right knee, open the right hip to the right as you press the foot towards the left. I even have a wall here I can press it towards. Make sure that left shoulder isn't sagging, that left arm is still strong. And then come back to center and step that right leg between the hands. It might take more than one step. That's okay. Set up that runner's lunge. Draw the right hip back, strengthen the back leg, and bend a little deeper into that right knee. Keep the hips facing the same direction. That left arm moves to the left, and we twist to the right. Notice how we want to come out of that lunge as we do this. Keep that front knee bending, keep that back leg strong. Maybe the right arm comes up. Maybe it comes behind the head. And then we come back to center. Hands either on the blocks, on the thigh, on the hips, and back knee's going to bend. And then it presses back. Good. So keep that right hip coming back. That back leg is working hard. We've got 3 more. Working our way into longer, stronger muscles. Last one. Now either stay here or press yourself up. Maybe the hands come to a different position. And we hold here for 3, 2, 1. Hands come down. We step forward to the front of the mat and fold. Second set of chair pose, Utkatasana. Bend the knees deep. This time we're going to keep our bodies laying along the thighs and see if we can reach the arms in front of us. Feel the line from the fingertips out through the sit bones. Lengthen that back, lengthen the top of the head forward and the tailbone back for 4. Get deeper. 3, deeper. 2, 1. Come all the way up. Beautiful work. Exhale, fold. Look up halfway, lengthen. Exhale, fingertips to the earth. We're going to step the left leg back. I'm just doing the other side here so I can look at you. Spin the right heel down to the earth. Sorry, left leg back. Spin the left heel down to the earth and come up into warrior 2 with the right leg forward. Nice. So you're in a heel to heel or a heel to arch alignment. That back heel is slightly out. We're going to just take the hips back slightly and really ground down through all four corners of both feet, especially the big toe mound of the front foot and that knife edge of the back foot. And then we press that right knee to the right and scoop the right hip under to bring the body up perpendicular to the floor. Reach those wings out. Nice. Let's play with the waist a little bit. We're gonna reach forward with the right arm and then back with the left. You can rotate the arm bones and the shoulder sockets, but really connect to the movement we can create through the waist, through the ribs, through the shoulders. Next time you're reaching forward, reach, 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 reach till you can't reach anymore. Draw that right hip back, tuck it under. Maybe the right elbow comes to the thigh, maybe the fingertips to the earth, and we open up in a side angle pose. Left hand on the hip, or up to the sky, or over the ear. Utkatasana. The power is in that back leg. It keeps pressing back in a way so that the body can extend forward. Amazing. And now both hands come to the earth. They frame that front foot. We spin up on those back toes and come back into plank. Make your way down towards the earth. Beautiful. Flip the feet over and come up again into your cobra, step by step, drawing those elbows together. Collarbone stays wide, neck stays long. We come up a little and check. And we test. We keep pulling those hands back, pressing the hands into the earth, pressing the tops of the feet into the earth. Beautiful. And all the way down, down dog, child's or puppy. Now from downward facing dog, we lift the left leg up. We bend the left knee. We open that left hip to the left and press that left foot towards the right. We strengthen up that right arm, making sure it's not sagging. And then we come back to center and step the left foot in between the hands. Spin the right heel down and come up into warrior two on this side. Hands on the hips. We let the hips sink back a little so that we can ground into the toes, ground into all four corners of the feet, activate that back leg, and then we start to scoop that left hip under so that our body comes parallel. We maintain that strength and power in the back leg, arms out like wings, bend through the front knee. Beautiful. And now let's connect to this waist, to the core again. We reach forward with the left and back with the right. Explore that inner environment of muscle and fascia, finding that movement, that flow, where it might be hard to access in our day-to-day life. One more time in each direction. And next time, let's start reaching forward, forward, forward until we can't reach anymore. Elbow on thigh or fingers towards the earth. Open up to the side. Choose your top arm position. Side angle pose, Utkatasana on this side. Keep scooping those left sit bone under, and you'll even feel more length through the waist when you do this. And then release the hands to the earth. Spin up on those back toes and step to the front of the mat. Fold. Bend the knees nice and deep. Third set of chair. This time, come all the way up. Deep bend through the hips and the knees. Lots of weight in the heels. Choose your arm position at the heart, out in front, or bringing those arms up towards the biceps framing the ears without shrugging. Keeping that heart wide, keeping that core active for 3, 2, 1. Come all the way up. Exhale, Tadasana, mountain pose. Hang out here for a moment. Close your eyes. Feeling tall and strong. Nice work. We're going to take a big step out. And we're coming back to our warrior 2 and side angle again. So we'll start on the right side again, turning the right toes towards the short edge of the mat, bending that right knee. Arms reach out like wings. We strengthen that back leg. And then start to reach forward with that right arm. The more we reach forward, the more that right hip shifts back. We keep that bend in the right knee. This time, elbow on thigh, or if you did that last time, see if you can bring the fingertips down. Maybe you can even get deep enough towards that thigh to reach under and touch the right glute. Maybe you could even bind with the arms. And then we work with our legs to open ourselves up, just slowly, one step at a time. We inhale. You may even have the fingertips on the earth and just the left hand behind your back, urging that right sit bone underneath you. Beautiful. Now keep that bend through the right knee. Come all the way back to warrior 2. Reach back with the back arm and up and over with that right arm. Exalted warrior. And then back to center. Straighten both legs. Turn the toes so that they're parallel. Let's clear it out with a forward fold. Hands on the hips. Fold at the hips, hinge forward, stop at 90 degrees, fingertips on the earth or on props. Find back and forth, find the center of your feet. Shift right to left, and then fold deeper if it's with you. Come back up onto fingertips, hands to the hips, all the way back up. And then we turn the left toes towards the short edge of the mat. Right heel turns out slightly, and we bend into our warrior 2 on this side. So we got our second set of side angle pose on the left now. Reach those arms out, activate both legs, start to reach towards the front of the mat, shifting the hips back. Keep bending through that left knee. And then again, maybe the elbow to the thigh, maybe all the way down. Right hand on the hip, or maybe this time it can reach behind you and tap that left glute, encouraging the body to spin open. That bottom hand might even come up and behind to also encourage that left glute up and under. And we might even be able to bind here. Beautiful work. Release that. Keep the legs. Come up to warrior 2. Keep the legs. Reach back. Exalted warrior. Nice work. And then back up through center, straighten both legs, and walk them in a little bit. Or a lot. Let's come to Tadasana, reintroduce the legs to each other. Nice work. So we're doing something a little different. We're working up towards something a little different today. And always remembering when we work step by step, every step of the pose is important. Every step of the pose has its own benefits. So it's not about getting to that final point. We're going to just start though in a moderately wide-legged stance, toes turned out, coming down into goddess or horse stance, sitting those hips back and down, knees turning out towards the same direction of the toes. One hand on the heart, one on the abdomen, and we close our eyes. We find all four corners of both feet, and we sink a little bit deeper. Tap into that heartbeat. Tap into that gut instinct. This discomfort we're feeling, does it create more? This is the discomfort of growth. Unless there's shooting sharp pains or tingling or numbness, we go a little deeper. And in 3, 2, 1, straighten both legs. Inhale, reach up and around. Exhale, hands come through the center, bend back down into that squat. Inhale, come up. Exhale down. Keep that core active 2 more times. Last one. Beautiful. And then come all the way up. Walk the feet in to about hip distance apart. Tadasana, mountain pose. So the feet may be hip distance or a little bit wider. We're going to bring some bend to the knees and then hinge at the hips and come forward. Release here. Check in with yourself. Shift right to left. Now we've been trying to open up our shoulders a little bit. They've been warmed up. We're going to take that right arm and bring it through the inner edge of that right leg and bend it to tap the right glute. Maybe that's where you stay. Maybe the left arm comes behind you too. Maybe you can bind the hands. Make the feet right this parallel again, maybe slightly turned out, and just kind of shift from right to left here. If the low back is hurting, bend the knees a little more. And shift and get that nice stretch. This might be where you stay. If something is calling you to shift towards that left foot and come onto those right toes, bringing that right heel in towards you, stay there. You can do that. If something is calling you to try to pick that right foot up off the floor, give it a shot. Maybe something's calling you to stand up. And we're at home, so if we fall over, hey, no problem. Maybe something's calling you to extend through that right leg. And then come all the way back down. Release the bind or wherever you're at. Shake it out. Come all the way up to Tadasana. And clear. Take a note of what the body's telling you. Forget anything that happened on the right side as we move to the left. We bend the knees. We hinge right at the hips and come to a forward fold. The left shoulder comes up against the inner left thigh. And maybe the elbow bends so that we can tap that left glute. The right hand might come behind you and you release the head and the neck and you stay here. Maybe you can bind those hands and you shift from left to right. Now, again, whole other side. Maybe you're called to shift all the way into that right foot, come up on the left toes and draw that heel in towards you. You could stay here. Maybe you flex through that left foot and it comes up off the ground and you're balancing on your right foot. Maybe you start to press into that right foot and straighten out the body as you come to standing. Maybe that left leg starts to straighten, maybe not. And then we slowly unwind from wherever we are. I told you this would be different. Come all the way up to standing. Tadasana, mountain pose. Bring the hands behind the back of the head, interlace the fingers, almost like you're lifting the base of the skull up and away. Lift it with your hands, lean back. Sunny day. And then release. Beautiful job. Come to the front of the mat. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Look up halfway, lengthen. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to hands and knees. Knees come apart, toes together, child's pose. As you breathe here, let the body soften. We'll come into another shoulder stretch here. We shift forward slightly, come up onto hands, reach up through that left arm and loop it through that window that the right arm and leg are making. Come down onto the left shoulder, the left side of the face. Maybe you stay there. Maybe you reach that right arm behind you towards the left hip crease. And then slowly come back to hands and knees. And we go to the other side. Reach up through the right arm, swoop it through towards the left. Come on to the right side of the face, the right shoulder. Maybe you reach the left hand up and around. And then slowly release that side and come to seated. Beautiful. You might want your belt or tie or a tea towel nearby as we reach those legs out in front of us. Shimmy so it feels like the sit bones are pointing directly into the earth. Or you could always come and sit on something slightly elevated. I'm going to take my belt, but you don't have to. I like to use it for feedback, to keep reminding myself to keep the shoulders back and the heart reaching forward as we fold forward. Get nice and long to the spine. And then draw that heart towards the toes. Release the head and the neck. Come all the way up. We're going to bend the knees and lean back. You can do this on the back as well. We're going to go into number 4 pose here. So if you find that the knee of the bent leg gets too close to your body, just move on to your back. We're going to cross the left ankle over the right thigh. And the farther away that shin is from the heart, the more you'll be able to access that opening. And then if your hips allow, you can start to bring your heart closer towards that shin, walking your hands in towards you. Keep that left foot active and awake. So again, on your back, it will look like this, and you can start to bring that right thigh towards you. If you're seated here and you're upright enough, you might even be able to cradle that left leg. And if you're there, you might not even need that right thigh anymore. We swing that left hip forward to make sure it's in line with the right. We definitely feel a bit more intensity to the pose. We keep lifting the heart up and out of the pelvis, lengthening the spine. The more parallel the shin is to the earth, again, the more opening that we get, the more work there is for that hip. And then slowly we're going to lay that ankle down onto the thigh. The tighter that left hip is, the more deeply we're going to be massaging that quad muscle there. And that may or may not be uncomfortable. We get nice and long. We either hold here or maybe we fold. Feeling the right side back body from heel all the way up through the hip and low back. Get a nice lengthening. Inhale, come all the way up. Release those legs, give them a shake. Lean back again, bend both knees. Cross the right ankle over the left thigh. So if that right knee is really close to you, walk those hands back a little bit more. Increase the distance between the heart and the knee, and then you can access a little bit more power to open that right knee to the right. Once it's there, maybe you decide to walk a little closer. If your body is upright, you might be able to cradle that leg. And then you might not even need that left thigh anymore. You swing that right hip forward in line with the left. So you can tell this is my tight side. You see how my back starts to curl. I'm working on really sitting up tall, drawing my heart up and away, lengthening my spine and keeping that leg as close in as I can. And then slowly let that right ankle come down on the left thigh. You can hold here or fold forward towards that left leg. Release the head and the neck. And then come all the way back up, uncross the legs, give them a shake. We're going to tuck the thumbs underneath the sit bones and come down on one elbow, then the other, and walk those elbows as far under the shoulders as possible. So you're pressing into the palms and the forearms and the elbows. You're letting everything from the hips down ground. You point the toes away from us. And then from that position, as if there's a string in the middle of the heart. We start to lift the heart up and take those shoulder blades behind the back, lifting the heart from behind. Matsyasana, fish pose. You may stay here, looking down towards the toes, or you might start to open that throat up if that feels okay for you. Once you're there, you might press into the hands a little more as you arc up and over, head towards the earth. We still have the shoulder blades lifting the heart up to the sky. The forearms and the elbows helping. And now with strength, we bring the chin back in towards the chest and then let the body come down to the mat. Bend the knees, bring the feet mat width apart, let the knees fall in towards each other. Let the spine settle in this new position. Hips on the earth. Letting go. We're going to walk the heels in right underneath, right behind the sit bones. Feet are parallel, knees pointed up to the sky. Bring the elbows nice and close into you. I like to come into robot arms, fingertips pointing up to the sky. And I press into my feet, into the backs of my arms, the backs of my shoulders, and the back of my head, and lift those hips up to the sky. Tadasana, bridge. If you want, you can extend the arms so that the palms come to the mat, and we continue to press into the entire length of the arm and the shoulder to keep lifting that heart and the hips higher. You might even interlace the fingers underneath you and roll a little bit deeper onto those shoulders, lifting that heart even higher. Feel that line of energy from the heart all the way out through the knees for 2 and 1. And then drop the hips down. Check in with your body. Here's a good time to listen. See what it might want to do after that. Maybe you need a hug. Maybe you need some windshield wipers. Maybe the knees come into the hands as you rock side to side. Maybe even a happy baby pose. And then slowly decide how you want to end the practice. You can come into a traditional Shavasana, palms up, legs spread out. You can choose to be on your side, on your front, legs at the wall, or even up in a seated meditation. Wherever you decide, close your eyes. Coming back to sensation. We notice the outer casing of our body still grounded on the earth, open to the air. We notice the physiological processes that keep us going, the breath, the heartbeat, maybe even gurglings of the digestive system. As we turn our intention towards the inner environment, you start to notice the space within. Imagining a big sky. The sky that remains unchanged, even through the weather, the clouds of thoughts, the winds and rains and snows of emotion, the sun, the moon. That big sky is this unending source of wisdom, of knowledge, something greater than the transient winds and clouds that pass by. Spend some time here, knowing that you can tap into this anytime. The messages that we receive from our awareness, from this big sky. The more we listen, the more we give it time, the more we act on those messages, the more gifts it has to give us, the more clearly it will speak. The more in tune we will be. I hope that you can give your body, yourself, all your layers this time throughout the week. And also give yourself some times, some opportunities to acknowledge, to listen, to hear, and to act upon your inner voice. And watch what kinds of gifts come from that. Thank you for sharing your practice with me. Thank you for showing up, and make sure you thank yourself for further developing this relationship with all layers of you. I hope you have a wonderful Wednesday, a wonderful rest of your week. Namaste.